Elite Facts presents
20 people who are having a worse day than you.
20.
Dive of the century. Look at that. So much style, so much grace, and soon enough, so much pain. Now, you just know this one is going to end horribly. We all have that one friend when going to the local swimming pool who says, watch me, I can make this jump." Well, more often than not, this happens. This guy isn't nearly close to clearing that gap to the pool. We imagine he's going to be in tremendous pain in the morning. It'll be a miracle if he doesn't break a rib or two from the impact.
19.
Strongest car in the world. The one thing you need to keep in mind when owning a car is resale value. This guy isn't going to get much for his car, I can tell you that for certain. There's no way they're going to be able to clear all of the concrete off of the front of the vehicle before it sets, so that's your paint job ruined. Well, we suppose there's one good thing about this car now. It probably has one of the strongest front bumpers in the world.
18.
Theme parks are terrifying. You know, going to a theme park with dozens of rides always gives you, the visitor, a 50% chance of surviving. Now, obviously, theme park accidents are like a 1 in 1,000 chance of happening, but you have to admit, those odds are still pretty worrying. Take this image, for example. Could you imagine being these people stuck on a tall ride like this with their backs facing the ground? Now, you just know that these people are absolutely terrified out of their minds. I would be.
17.
Stranded on a roof. I think this is a pretty common thing that's happened to a lot of us when re-shingling the roof or whatever the case may be. Climbing up such a height and knocking down the ladder is probably one of the worst things to happen, besides actually falling off the roof. Think about it, you're pretty much left helpless. Well, we guess this is their life now until someone arrives. Hopefully, her phone has enough credit to call for help.
16.
Hearse problems. Okay, we think this one pretty much speaks for itself. Now, we have no idea how something like this could happen. If the hearse made a hard brake, the casket would only move towards the front of the vehicle. Maybe he was reversing and braked hard, causing it to crash through the back window. This is a pretty big design flaw, if you ask us.
15.
Rock-solid pizza. You know, nothing beats having pizza on the weekend, unless you're not a fan of pizza, which is heresy. Even if it's store-bought frozen za, it's a nice little treat on the weekend. Well, unfortunately for one person, they fell asleep while cooking their pizza and now have what looks like a fossilized dino turd. Bon appetit.
14.
Wrath of the soda gods. Has anybody else had this issue? Annoying, right? All you want is a nice fresh beverage, an ice-cold Coke, only for the top not to crack open. You're literally stuck with an unalienable can of Coke. We suppose you could pierce the top of it, but you run the risk of it spraying everywhere. What cruel god would let this happen?
13.
The dominant one. One of the many things you need to do when raising a dog, besides showing it love, is also to show it who's boss. If not, they'll take every opportunity to dominate over you. Take this image, for example. The person who's walking the dogs is being dragged everywhere by them, so much so that they actually dragged him face first into a tree. Dogs are amazing creatures, but man, some of them can be a nightmare to walk.
12.
Biggest day of her life, ruined. This is quite possibly the most depressing image of the lot, so we think this picture kind of speaks 1,000 words. It's clear that this woman's biggest day of her life ended in an upsetting way. Worst thing about this is that she's taking the subway home instead of calling for a cab.
11.
Prank of the century. Now, it's unknown whether or not this is a prank, but hey, this would be a hilarious prank to pull on a family member or friend. Now, as we've said, either this is a prank or someone woke up one morning being none the wiser, putting a good old spot of Papa John's garlic dip in the espresso maker rather than a normal espresso pot. Accident or joke, this is hilarious. Papa bless.
10.
Pizza delivery fail. We don't think we've seen a more horrific sight in our lives. That poor pizza didn't stand a chance during delivery. I wonder if the guy called up and got a refund for it.
9.
Paint explosion. So the last thing you're probably not going to want to get paint on is the interior of your car. Well, unfortunately for this person, his entire trunk is covered in cream paint. Now, either he left the lids off of the tubs while traveling, or the cans of paint exploded during transit. Regardless of how it happened, he's going to be paying a fortune to get that cleaned.
8.
Someone is losing their job. So we guess that's one supermarket that's going to be low on eggs for about a week. We'd hate to be the guy in charge of cleaning that mess up. You'd be there for hours just cleaning up eggshells and egg yolks. But we can't imagine that this is the first time this has happened.
7.
Call the locksmith. You want to talk about being unlucky? Try being the person who was trying to unlock their door to their own house and having the key snap off in the locking mechanism. Could you imagine if they just got back from a hard day at work and all they wanted to do was rest? That would suck.
6.
The most oblivious person in the world. So, do you think anybody is going to tell him to stop leaning on this painted support pillar, or do you think they're going to keep quiet for the fun of it?
5.
R.I.P. beer. This may or may not be the most depressing sight we've ever seen. Look at the disappointment in his face. That must have been a fresh 6-pack of beer. I mean, at least he salvaged one, but let me tell you, this picture speaks volumes about how much he appreciates beer.
4.
R.I.P. sandwich. Actually, we retract our previous statement. This is the most upsetting sight we've ever seen. Look at how proud this guy was. That large sub was like a gift from the gods for that guy. We're guessing he's a university student as well. That sandwich could have fed him up until his next student loan. That's not the most depressing part, though. You can see in the bottom 2 images that he's grieving for the loss of his beloved sandwich. Press F to pay respect.
3.
The most epic chase since Raiders of the Lost Ark. Right here you can see a screenshot from the latest Indiana Jones film. Not going to lie, if we were the guy in the semi-truck, we'd probably speed up. The opportunity is too good to miss.
2.
Stuck in her childhood, literally. Now, we get that a lot of us want to live out small portions of our childhoods every now and then, but this is probably the most ridiculous thing we've seen. Sure, she must have known she wouldn't fit into that swing seat. Well, hopefully her friends didn't send these photos out to other people they know. Her social life would be ruined.
1.
We think the scales are trying to tell you something. Finally, we have this. Now, we're sure this isn't doing much for that person's confidence, right? Imagine jumping on your set of glass scales and they just break under your weight. Now, obviously, this person probably dropped their scales when moving them, but we still can't help but imagine that this is the scales giving the user a cheeky little hint. And that's our list. Do you know someone who had a worse day than you? Let us know in the comments below. Please remember to subscribe and tap the bell button to be notified when new videos are uploaded. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like us and subscribe for more elite facts.